Hello students. In this lecture, we will discuss about the next topic, introductions to ecology. In introductions to ecology, it includes various subpoints like definition, then ecology and syncology term, then biological diversity, then methods of vegetations, then genetic diversity, species diversity, ecosystem diversity, and hotspots in India. Now the definitions of ecology. Firstly, the ecology means the ecology is the study of structure, function, interactions and interaction of living organisms and their environment. Means interaction of living organisms and the environment, and this term is called as the ecology. Today, the ecology and environment science are the most important branches and which are concerned with the existence of man and earth. Now, the different scientists um, proposed by the term of ecology, the the scientist Ernest Haeckel in 1869 used this term for the first time. And according to Haeckel, ecology is the study of relationship of organisms to its organic as well as inorganic environment. And thus, ecology is defined as the branch of biology that studies the interrelationship between organisms and their environment. Means, according to Ernest Haeckel's, he that the ecology means the interaction between organisms and their environment. Then next scientist is the famous ecologist E.P. Odum in 1971 defined as ecology is the study of totality of patterns of relationship to the surroundings. And according to Odums, ecology is the study of organisms in relation to surrounding in which they are the lives. Means uh, the organisms the organisms are relations or interact the surrounding in which they are the lives, and these surrounding are called as the environment of organisms. Then according to Odom, in 1971, the ecology is the study of structure and function of the natures. And then Krebs in 1985 has defined as ecology as the scientific study of interactions that determine the distributions and abundance of organisms. So these are the various definitions of ecology according to different scientists. Now the ecology, ecology, ecology has become an interdisciplinary science incorporating biologists, chemists, geologists, statisticians, mathematicians. Then and all these disciplines and researchers have to work in the interactions of ecological concept. And ecology is the typically the practical science concerned with fieldwork, experiments, laboratory experiments as well as laboratory studies. The basic concept of ecology is the everything that the everything depends on everything else. So these are the some concept as well as the definitions of ecology. Now the next term is the ecology and syncology. First one is the ecology. The definition of ecology is the ecological studies which concentrated on one species, and this is called as the ecology. Means the only one species or only one species are studied in a for their environments, and this is called as the ecology. The ecology of for example, the ecology of bracken fern like pteridiums, aquiliniums, the most successful fern in the world, is studied in details. And the fern is very common in western Ghats as well as the western Ghats and especially in Mahabaleshwar. And once this fern is established, it is very difficult to eradicate because it can be survived in wide range of conditions. Hence, the study of all details of pteridium, aquiliniums, the individual species comes under the atacology. Means atacology is the ecological study in an individual species. Means only one species are studies under the atacology. Then next is the syncology. Syncology means the ecological studies dealing with communities, ecosystems and their relationship with the environment are called as the syncology. The study of forest ecosystem, agroecosystem, grassland ecosystem, marine ecosystems, these are under in scope of syncology. Means atacology and syncology is totally opposite. Atacology is the in a ecological studies are only one or particular concentrated on one species or a particular species, and in syncology it is the dealing with the communities as well as communities, ecosystems and their relationship of environment, and this term is called as the syncology. Now the next is the biological diversity. The biodiversity means the biodiversity is defined as totality of genes, species and ecosystem in a regions. And the term biodiversity used in the word in the in the total number of varieties, variability of living organisms, and this biodiversity also defined as the sum total of variety of living organisms on earth, and this is called as the biological diversity or biodiversity. Then there concept and scope of biodiversity. The term biodiversity, which is widely used not only by the scientists but also it is the used in environmental groups, then public groups, NGOs, conservations, industrialists, politicians and economists. Means this biodiversity not only useful for the scientists but also it is the useful in various like environmental group, politicians, economists. Then today it is or it is the scope of biodiversity is the biodiversity also associated truly with agriculture, aquaculture, animal husbandry, forestry and most of the applied branches of biology. The biodiversity is becoming a fundamental requirement on which the new industrial development and innovations are going to best. Biodiversity will offer in the coming years new sources of food, medicines and other human requirements. Then globalizations of trade market has shoot up in the past decade, resulting in very rapid dramatic changes in land and use patterns and regional development activities. As well as this biodiversity has already proved itself in a fundamental concept of word. Then next point is the alpha, beta and gamma diversity. The different types of these are the different type of biodiversity, and these types are discovered by Whitaker in 1972. And the term for measuring biodiversity is the scales of alpha, beta and gamma diversity. So first one is the alpha diversity. The alpha diversity is the diversity within a particular area or ecosystems, and it is the usually expressed by the number of species in that ecosystem. Means it is the measurement or it is the diversity within a particular area or ecosystems. Then beta diversity. The beta diversity is the ratio between local or alpha diversity and the regional diversity. Means beta diversity is the ratio between alpha diversity and regional diversity. This is the diversity of species between two habitats or regions. Then gamma diversity. The gamma diversity is the measure of overall diversity for the different ecosystem within a regions, and in other words, the gamma diversity is the total diversity of landscape, and it is the combination of both alpha as well as the beta diversity. So these are the different types of diversity. Now the next point is the method of vegetation sampling, and these method of vegetation samplings are included in quadrat methods, transect methods, and plotless method. So firstly, vegetation means, the vegetations means presence of different plant species at a specific area. Means vegetation means in a specific area, this area is a under this area number of plant species are found, and this is the called as the vegetations. And vegetation studies means the study of such species, composition of specific area is called as a vegetation study. Means in a specific area or in a proper area or in a particular area, number of plant species are present, and these number of plant species are studied, and this concept is called as the vegetation studies. And the main goal of vegetation study is to know about the species, their number, abundance, density, changing composition, their mathematically and graphical representations. Means in a particular area number of plant species are present, and the goal or main aim of this vegetation study is to identify or to observe or to count the number of plant species, as well as their graphical representations. So first one is the quadrat methods. The study in quadrat method, the sampling unit is area of the defined size. The quadrats the quadrat is the square sample area of different size marked of the plant community for the purpose of vegetation studies. It is also effective to determine the exact different or similarities, the structure and composition between two or more plant communities. Means in a quadrat methods, these methods are useful for in a particular area various plant species are found, and these plants are their differences, and these methods are determined to exact differences and similarities of their plants. And the cover, density, frequency are important aspect of the plant community, and which can be measured by the quadrat samples. And these quadrats are four types: list quadrats, list count quadrats, chart quadrats, and clip quadrat method. So first one is the list quadrat methods. The list quadrat methods is the enlist the names of different species person within a quadrat. Means in a particular quadrat or in a particular squares, enlist the number of different species. Means in a particular quadrat number of plant species are present, so enlist these plant species in a list quadrat methods. Then list count quadrat, record the number of individual of which species represented in each quadrat. Means in each quadrats the record the number of individuals species. Then chart quadrats, these record the positions and areas covered by branches, mats, mosses, and on the coordinate of or graph paper, and these graphs helps to compare any changes in structures of community in a future. Then next method is the clip quadrat method. It is used to study a biomass or weight of each species. So these are the different types of quadrat methods, and after obtaining data from quadrat study, it can be used for the calculation of frequency, density, and abundances. Means the particular area or particular quadrat are study or observes, like their number of species, then their similarities and differences of particular species, and then to calculate the frequency, density and abundances. So these are the this is the formula of frequency, density and abundances. The frequency is equal to number of quadrat in which species have occurred divided by number of quadrat studies into 100. Means, for example, number of quadrat which species have been occurred in a number of quadrats, and then number of quadrat studies means 5 quadrats, 5 quadrat, 4 quadrats, 6 quadrats we are studies, and in these quadrats which type of or which number of species occurred into 100. This is the frequency. Then density. Density means the total number of individual of species in all quadrats divided by number of quadrats in a study. Then next is the abundance. The total number of individual of species in all quadrats divided by number of quadrats in which species have occurred. So this is the types, definition of ecology, then concept of ecology and syncology, and then method of visitations or quadrat methods. And in next lecture we are study the genetic diversity, species diversity and ecosystem diversity. Okay, thank you.